Hello, family. God bless you all. We pick up at Jubilees chapter 7. In the seventh week, in the first year of it, in this Jubilee, Noah planted vines on the mountain on which the ark had rested, named Lubar, one of the Ararat mountains. And they produced fruit in the fourth year, and he guarded their fruit and gathered it in that year in the seventh month. He made wine from it and put it into a vessel and kept it until the fifth year, until the first day, on the new moon of the first month. And he celebrated with joy the day of this feast. And he made a burnt sacrifice to the Lord, one young ox and one ram, and 7 sheep, each a year old, and a kid of the goats, that he might make atonement thereby for himself and his sons. He prepared the kid first, and placed some of its blood on the flesh that was on the altar that he had made, and all the fat he laid on the altar where he made the burnt sacrifice, and the ox and the ram and the sheep. And he laid all their flesh on the altar. He placed all their offerings mingled with oil on it, and afterwards he sprinkled wine on the fire which had previously been made on the altar. And he placed incense on the altar, and caused a sweet odor to rise up, which was acceptable before the Lord his God. And he rejoiced, and he and his children drank the wine with joy. It was evening, and he went into his tent, and being drunken, he laid down and slept, and was uncovered in his tent as he slept. And Ham saw Noah, his father, naked, and went out and told his 2 brothers who were outside. Shem took his garment and arose, he and Japheth, and they placed the garment on their shoulders, and went backward and covered the shame of their father, and their faces were backward. Noah awoke from his sleep and knew all that his younger son had done to him. And he cursed his son and said, "Cursed be Canaan. An enslaved servant shall he be to his brothers." And he blessed Shem and said, "Blessed be the Lord God of Shem, and Canaan shall be his servant. God shall enlarge Japheth, and God shall dwell in the dwelling of Shem, and Canaan shall be his servant." Ham knew that his father had cursed him, his younger son, and he was displeased that he had cursed him, his son. And Ham parted from his father, he and his sons with him, Cush and Mizraim, and Put and Canaan. And he built for himself a city and called its name after the name of his wife. Bear with me, that ain't a name. Neelantama. Neelantama. Japheth saw it and became envious of his brother, and he too built for himself a city, and he called its name after the name of his wife, Adatonneses. Adatenesis. Shem, our grandfather, dwelt with his father Noah and he built a city close to his father on the mountain. And he too called its name after the name of his wife, Sedekitelibab. Wow, man. Ham's wife, name is spelled N-E-El or -E-L A-T-A-M-A -U-K. Japheth's wife, name is spelled Adateanesses. And Shem's wife, name is spelled Sedequetle or Tel, my bad. Sedequetelebab. These three cities are near Mount Lubar. Sedequetelebab in front of the mountain on its east, and Neel Tamakuk on the south. Adatenesis towards the west. These are the sons of Shem, Elam, and Asher, and Arpachshad, who was born 2 years after the flood, and Lud and Aram. The sons of Japheth, Gomer, Magog, Madai, Javan, Tubal, and Meshech, and Tiras. These are the descendants of Noah. In the 28th Jubilee, Noah began to direct his sons in the ordinances and commandments and all the judgments that he knew. And he exhorted his sons to observe righteousness and to cover the shame of their flesh and to bless their Creator and honor father and mother and love their neighbor and guard their souls from fornication and uncleanness and all iniquity. Because of these three things came the flood on the earth, namely the fornication that the watchers committed against the law of their ordinances when they went whoring after the daughters of men, and took themselves wives of all they chose. And they made the beginning of uncleanness. And they begat sons, the Nephilim, and they were all dissimilar, and they devoured one another. And the giants killed the Nephil, and the Nephil killed the Eljo, and the Eljo killed mankind, and one man killed one another. Everyone committed himself to crime and injustice and to shed much blood, and the earth was filled with sin. After this, they sinned against the beasts and birds and all that moved and walked on the earth. And much blood was shed on the earth, and men continually desired only what was useless and evil. And the Lord destroyed everything from the face of the earth because of the wickedness of their deeds, and because of the blood they had shed over all the earth, he destroyed everything. We were left, I and you, my sons, and everything that entered with us into the ark. And behold, I see your works before me, that you do not walk in righteousness. For in the path of destruction you have begun to walk, and you are turning one against another, and are envious one of another. And so it comes that you are not in harmony, my sons, each with his brother. For I see the demons have begun their seductions against you and against your children, and now I fear on your behalf that after my death you will shed the blood of men on the earth, and that you, too, will be destroyed from the face of the earth. For whoever sheds man's blood, and whoever eats the blood of any flesh, shall all be destroyed from the earth. There shall be no man left that eats blood, nor that sheds the blood of man on the earth, nor shall there be left to him any offspring or descendants living under heaven. Into the abode of the dead shall they go, and into the place of condemnation shall they descend, and into the darkness of the deep shall they all be removed by a violent death. Do not smear blood on yourself, or let it remain on you. Out of all the blood there shall be shed, and out of all the days in which you have killed any beast or cattle or whatever flies on the earth, you must do a good work to your souls by covering that which has been shed on the face of the earth. You shall not be like him who eats blood, but guard yourselves that none may eat blood before you. Cover the blood, for thus have I been commanded to testify to you and your children, together with all flesh. Do not permit the soul to be eaten with the flesh, that your blood, which is your life, may not be required at the hand of any flesh that sheds it on the earth. For the earth will not be clean from the blood that has been shed on it. For only through the blood of him that shed it will the earth be purified throughout all its generations. Now, my children, listen. Have judgment and righteousness, that you may be planted in righteousness over the face of the whole earth, and your glory lifted up in the presence of my God, who spared me from the waters of the flood. Look, you will go and build for yourselves cities, and plant in them all the plants that are on the earth, and moreover all fruit-bearing trees. For 3 years the fruit of everything that is eaten will not be gathered, and in the 4th year its fruit will be accounted holy, offered as first fruit, acceptable before the Most High God, who created heaven and earth and all things. Let them offer in abundance the first of the wine and oil as first fruits on the altar of the Lord, who receives it. And what is left, let the servants of the house of the Lord eat before the altar which receives it. In the 5th year, make the release, so that you release it in righteousness and uprightness. And you shall be righteous, and all that you plant shall prosper. For this is how Enoch did it. The father of your father commanded Methuselah, his son, and Methuselah commanded his son, Lamech. And Lamech commanded me all the things that his fathers commanded him. I also will give you commandment, my sons, as Enoch commanded his son in the first Jubilees. While still living, the seventh in his generation, he commanded and testified to his son and to his son's sons until the day of his death. Thank you for listening, family. God bless you.